This is Jeffrey Harris, and you're listening to the 411 Wrestling Interviews podcast. For today's interview, I am talking to the number one contender. It's Jungle Grrrl, who has now got a title shot in her pocket to face Tessa Blanchard for the WOW Championship. Jungle Grrrl, how are you doing today?
I am amazing today. Thank you, Jeffrey. How are you?
I am better than Custer. Thank you for asking.
I like that one.
All right. So this last Saturday on WOW, you now have a title shot after beating the Beast by disqualification, and you can face Tessa Blanchard for the title. How does it feel that you're the number one contender and you've got a shot at Tessa right now?
Well, let's be honest. I've always been the number one contender if I haven't been champion. So, but it certainly feels right going in now and going in with the opportunity to beat Tessa Blanchard and take that belt away from her.
What is more important to you, Jungle Grrrl, winning the title or beating Tessa, the born legend, as she's called?
Well, I don't really care who's behind the champion. I mean, the Beast could have it right now. Doesn't matter to me who has it. To me, it matters having that championship belt. Doesn't matter who has it. All that matters is that it is returned rightfully to me.
So it doesn't matter. Like, do you think Tessa has bitten off more than she can chew? Is her mouth writing checks that she can't cash? What do you think of Tessa?
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt she's one of the most talented wrestlers in the business, not even just with WOW Superheroes. Undoubtedly, undeniable, phenomenal. But she has something that is going to get her into trouble, which is the fact that she feels that she is a legend without having to walk that path. I've been walking this, a self-made legend, for 20 years. So what comes with me is wisdom.
But that
and an understanding of not only the business, but an understanding of just humanity that she just doesn't have in her young years. So I will always have the upper hand over Tessa Blanchard.
But that aside, you do think she is a good wrestler, and she has set herself apart from the pack.
I think she is phenomenal. I give props where props is due. She is 100% one of the toughest, if not the toughest competitor I've ever been in the ring with.
Now, let's talk about last Saturday's match. Of course, you won the match by disqualification after Lioness and Lana Star got involved. Does that tick you off? Because, I mean...
Of course it does.
Yeah.
Of course it ticks me off because I would have had the match won. And listen, week after week, and you've written this in your reviews, shitty outcome, right? I mean, week after week, there has been some kind of involvement that either has cost me an opportunity or given me the opportunity without my needing it. I mean, I was climbing up to the top of the ropes to take her out. I don't need anybody's assistant. Never have, never will. I work alone. I like it that way. That's why she and I were never going to work as a tag team, meaning the Beast. I work by myself, and that's the way I like it. And I don't need anybody's assistant to get the 1, 2, 3.
Now, are you going to have to pay back Lana Star and Lioness just for all the trouble they're causing, and are you going to have to take it out on them?
Listen, I have my eyes set on one thing, and that's the championship belt. So if they happen to come in my way again, they'll be taken care of. But as far as going into the ring and having to have a match with them, absolutely not. That is Tessa Blanchard's doing, I'm sure, and that will be dealt with. No, I don't need to deal with things that are not in my direct path of what it is that I want. I don't care about either one of them. I've already dealt with Lana on several occasions, and she's been a thorn in my side for God knows how long. However, my eyes are set right now on Tessa Blanchard and that championship belt. That's it.
Nonetheless, you are the number one contender. So does it even matter how you won as long as you're the number one contender?
I mean, listen, I played by the rules. I've been the straight and narrow for 18 years. And then everybody has gotten in my way, right? The Bees had to come in and take an opportunity away for the title shot against Tessa. And then, listen, payback's a bitch, and I am ready to get what's rightfully mine. So you know what? To me, I was going to win that match any way I needed to win it. So the fact that they just ended it a little bit sooner than it needed to be ended because they came and interfered, I don't care. I don't even care anymore.
Is there any concern about what the Beast might do in retaliation for this? Does it put a target on your back?
I'm not concerned about having a target, and I'm certainly not concerned about the Beast.
Now, provided you win the title from Tessa, would you be willing to grant a shot to the Beast, considering how your last match with her went?
Listen, when I win that championship belt, I'm a fighting champion, and I will take on anybody that David McLean feels is fit to get in the ring with me. I mean, I've pretty much gone through the entire roster and shown that I'm the top of the food chain.
Now, I mean, I think your look is amazing, and you don't wrestle in boots. So can you tell me about like the experience of you're not the first wrestler to go in the ring without boots. So I'm just curious, is it uncomfortable, or do you feel it's more you to do it that way?
It's 100% more me. I really enjoy wrestling barefoot. I feel that there's a feel for the ring that nobody else is able to get. I mean, for me, it's like, climbing trees and doing all of that has always been a natural thing of mine. And so for me to stay very rooted, it's just a much more natural fit for everything about who Jungle Grrrl is.
Now, have you ever stubbed your toe though, without the boots of the foot? Because
yes, I have, just as I've stubbed about probably every other part of my body. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's par for the course. It just the more things you have exposed. I also don't wrestle with shin guards or knee pads or elbow pads or anything else that a lot of the wrestlers in this day and age wrestle with. I just don't need to.
Because I got to tell you, Jungle Grrrl, if it was me, I would be crying like a baby if I stubbed my toe, because stubbing my toe is to me it's like a paper cut. I would be right. I would be I would be on the floor, and I'd probably be tapping out just from stubbing my toe. So.
Well, listen. Now you've given me a lot of ammunition. If you ever get in the ring, we know now how to take you down.
Exactly. So I mean, I'm just saying, for you to do it, I just think you're a unique breed, and clearly it doesn't bother you, and you got through it. So I have so much respect for that.
Oh, thank you. And truth be told, there's a lot of your adrenaline is going just full force, full speed when you're in the ring, and there's a lot of things that I'm not even aware of when I'm in the ring. That either later that night or the next day, I'm like, oh my God. What did I do? So, there are things that happen, and in the moment you don't feel them, but certainly after you do, when the adrenaline wears off.
Now, I got to ask you, recently there have been some changes at AXS TV, the broadcaster for WOW Women of Wrestling. It is now, or I guess the network was acquired by Anthem Media, which is also the parent company of Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling is moving this week to AXS TV. What did you think when you heard that news? And do you think this changes things for WOW in the future?
I don't know whether or not it changes things for WOW. I think that they are two entirely different productions. I mean, our production value is, second to none. It far exceeds that of Impact Wrestling, and I love Impact Wrestling. I appreciate the competition, but our organization is something that's just completely different. There's nothing like what we do. There's no other show that has an hour dedicated solely to women's wrestling that goes above and beyond. I mean, in-depth storytelling and just extraordinary wrestling with, over the top, unbelievable, entertaining storylines. It's just, there is no competition to us, really. So personally, I welcome it. As far as what the decision of the company will be, either one of them, that's for them to make the decision. Of course, I've been along for the ride for the last 20 years and will continue to be along for the ride, whether that's with AXS TV or anybody else. So, I mean, I'm thrilled, that we've had the platform with AXS TV. I'm thrilled that they've seen the same vision that David McLean and Jeannie Buss and myself included have seen and have wanted to see brought to fruition. So, listen, there's no telling what the future holds for any company for that matter. So, we have it now. I think the platform is phenomenal. I think there's nothing wrong with a little competition. They're on Tuesday nights. We're on Saturday nights. So, who knows what the future holds.
As a competitor, do you think there should be some sort of setup where the WoW superheroes would face the Impact Knockouts?
Truthfully, no, I don't. They're
Okay.
two separate organizations. And, I don't think that there's any reason that the Impact women and the WoW Women of Wrestling need to come together. Now, we have some Impact stars on our roster, and that's fine. That's not for me to tell. I'm not the one that I don't own the company. That's not my business. My business is as a performer and to, as an athlete, to go out there and to do my job. And the rest is up to David McLean and Jeannie Buss and the AXS individuals. Now,
hypothetically, though, Jungle Grrrl, if Jeannie and David pitched to you, we want you to go over to Impact and take out Taya Valkyrie. I mean, would you go over there and take her out on the orders of David and Jeannie?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. But what if...
listen, I'll make it clear. I will not back down from competition.
Okay.
So if I was asked to go do that, absolutely 100% I would.
Now, other way around. What if Taya Valkyrie comes over to WoW and tries to pick a fight with you? I mean, WoW is in her turf, kind of, but WoW is also your turf. So would you defend your turf from Taya Valkyrie?
Of course. 100%.
Yeah,
listen,
yeah.
Wrestling, whether it's with the purple canvas or in the Impact ring, wrestling's wrestling, baby, and I'm a competitor, and I play to win.
Now, WoW has really sort of overcome a lot of obstacles, and it's sort of stood the test of time. Here you are in the second season of WoW on AXS TV, but WoW has really been around almost 20 years now. So what has it been like to kind of see the company just sort of, in many ways, be this little engine that could?
I think that the vision that David had for WoW has really come to fruition as far as, I think, really what he envisioned as far as the level of athleticism and the level of storytelling that comes with it. I think that everybody that's on board right now, from Jeannie, AXS TV, all of the AXS TV executives and PR people, Jeannie Buss, really are sharing that same vision. And so I think it's a lot easier to carry out what your vision was when there are people that understand and ultimately want the same thing. So, the wrestling has been elevated to a level that we never had before, which, elevates everyone's game, elevates my game. You bring, a Tessa Blanchard in, you bring a Serpentine in, you're bringing in Reina Reyes, and you're bringing in a boatload of other girls, Havoc. These women are elevating not just women's wrestling, but wrestling in general. And so when you have that, and when you have a locker room full of women who are athletes, who are star performers, all that's going to do is just make the end product that much better. And when you have the production value that goes into it, as well as all of the dynamic wrestling, I mean, you have, it doesn't get better than that.
Does it make you in the roster feel special that, WoW has sort of been pushing this vision of an in-ring product dedicated to women's wrestling and showcasing, their athletics, their talent in the ring, in the in-ring product, years before it happened in WWE and other organizations when the women were called divas and they weren't taken seriously and weren't main eventing WrestleMania?
Oh, of course it may. I mean, listen, I think that certainly, even though our product was not what it is today 20 years ago, I believe that we were a catalyst in creating a much better overall product, whether that's with WWE, Impact, AEW, whomever it is. I think that WoW truly was the catalyst in creating something that was better, in forcing the conversation with announcers to change when their women were in the ring. So from going from these demeaning, conversations with the ring announcers, basically making them as second-rate citizens, to them headlining events and having a show like WoW, which is showcasing all women. Of course I feel special, and I am incredibly honored to have been, at the beginning of that entire process.
Do you remember, how did this journey for you start? Your pro wrestling journey?
So I was always a fan of professional wrestling, watched it when I was younger. And I actually had a friend who was wrestling in the WWE at the time when WoW had actually put out a search for women for tryouts. And I was intrigued enough. I didn't actually know that it was professional wrestling, but I was intrigued enough by what they had placed in the kind of the ad for the tryouts and had gone. And I mean, that's really where it all started in Marina Del Rey. I answered that call, went to the tryouts, learned more about it, then, proceeded to go for the training. And it was the most exhilarating experience I've ever had. Now, at the time, I was 24 years old when I had started, and it was incredible. I thought it brought everything together that I loved so much in life, just kind of all together in one, package, and just, it was awesome. And I was hooked. I mean, I loved watching it, but then actually being in the ring and doing it was just beyond my wildest imagination of the coolest, most empowering thing I had ever done.
It's just something that captures your imagination, and that was a very amazing story. So thank you about that. Excuse
Absolutely.
me. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sorry. We're seeing some very interesting new talents in WoW as well joining the roster. I was at the tapings tonight. Adriana Gambino. I think this was the first match of this woman's career.
Yes.
So seeing these young up and coming talents, do you ever like to talk to them and teach them and give them advice, or do you like to keep your distance and just sort of let them find their own way? I'm curious, what your thoughts on that are.
No, I mean, I feel that when anybody has taken that journey and been on that path, I think whatever they can share with up-and-comers, and I don't care what field it is, whether it's professional wrestling or anything else, I feel that I have an obligation to share my knowledge to help them through any of the difficulties. I mean, it is a very challenging business. Not only is it physically demanding, and I mean, it is a tough business. And I think that it takes a unique individual to thrive in that business and to have longevity in the business. WoW is a very unique atmosphere where the talent has more of a voice than I think in any other organization. We have a very open door policy where all of the women are able to go and to seek out David McLean and to have conversations with him. It's a really positive atmosphere, and I just, I like to just be there in any capacity, just to talk with them, see where their heads are at, see, what they want out of life, what their ambitions are. I think all of those things are important. And I do like to be there and to guide in any way I can. And I like to be kind of, I've been there since the beginning. So there is a genuine outlook that I have and perspective that none of the other girls could possibly have, because they haven't been there from the beginning. So I think that I like to be a resource for them, not a, you should or shouldn't be doing this, but more, hey, if you have any questions, I'm always here to help.
Do the young rookies or the younger veterans come to you for advice ever?
They do, a lot. And I don't think it's just the younger girls that are, kind of homegrown, trained through well. I think that I have a lot of the respect of all the women in the locker room, from Tessa Blanchard and everyone else. So I think I'm in an incredibly unique position, and I don't take that lightly. I respect the business. I respect the talent. I respect, our owners, our ownership. It's really a unique position to be in.
A veteran such as yourself, is there any sort of common thread of advice that you like to share with them when they come to you or ask you a question?
Yeah, respect every single person in the business. Period. Whether they just started or they've been around forever. Everyone deserves equal respect. And you don't have to like their, in-ring talent. You don't have to particularly care for them as an individual, but you certainly have to respect every single person. From the writers to the people that are setting up our food, to the talent, to our executives, to, all to the fans, to you guys for doing, these interviews. I mean, you're a huge part, because you are our gateway to fans. And, without the fans, we don't have a business.
Well, thank you,
so
Jungle Grrrl.
I appreciate what you're doing tremendously, and I appreciate your honesty in reviewing the matches. I really do. And I think that's important. So all of it. Respect everyone.
Well, thank you, Jungle Grrrl, and I appreciate what you do and what you do for the fans in the ring. So, sum up your upcoming title match against Tessa Blanchard. What does this match mean for you to be able to become a WOW champion yet again?
Vindication. It's tough to be robbed time and time again, and to maintain your composure and not completely snap. Although, I'm sure that's kind of what everybody views as what's happened over the past several weeks. It's just, Jungle Grrrl has snapped. Oh my God. I've lost my patience. I've lost my patience with the chaos and the stupidity, and I'm ready to get back what was rightfully mine, and what was taken from me, unfortunately, in a triple threat match where my shoulders weren't even pinned. And then after that, Beast coming in and interfering. So, vindication.
All right. Now, will the title match be airing this Saturday? Will it be a couple more weeks? Do you have any insight on that?
No, I believe it's a couple more weeks before it will air.
All right.
But man, you got to stay tuned, because every episode is better than the next. So this coming Saturday is going to be extraordinary on AXS TV, 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
What is going to happen when you get in there with Tessa? I mean, will she ever be the same coming out of this match?
I hope not.
Well, I
hope not.
That sounds very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Jungle Grrrl, just
Good.
Last thing. Do you have a message? Anything you want to say to the fans? The listeners out there? If you have any plugs, social media things or anything you'd like to plug, I want to give you the time to do that. So go ahead.
Well, to all the fans, keep watching, recruit people. We need all eyes watching. It's a great show. We're on AXS TV Saturday nights at 8 p.m. You can follow all of the superheroes at Wow Superheroes. I'm Wow_Jungle Grrrl. You can follow my independent link, which is at Endorphasm. It's a gym that I own in Richmond, Virginia. And we always welcome new people to come in. But listen, if you see me or if you're on social media, just be respectful. Be respectful to all of the women that are involved. And just keep enjoying the show, man. Just everybody, just keep enjoying the show. Watch and give us your feedback and follow along. We got a lot of the girls that are on Twitter live, on the nights of the events. We're one of the only organizations, if not the only organization, that does that. Follow us. We'll respond and interact with you back. So get on there, be vocal. Let us know what you think.
Thank you, Jungle Grrrl. Thank you, 411 Mania listeners. You've been listening to Wow Superhero Jungle Grrrl. Wow Women of Wrestling airs every Saturday night on AXS TV. Thank you, everyone, and you've been listening to the 411 Wrestling Interviews podcast. Have a great day.